That's to watch some League of Legends. So we are into the picks and bans, and it's going to be Nidalee taken away from Crush by CJ.
Real inglorious debut for BDD, 1-0 and 8, I believe, in his first ever game. Both BDD and Kramer, the two carries that are really going to be the hopes of CJ will be relied upon moving forward. Neither dying. 1 kill to BDD, 2 kills for Kramer, but it was a macro win. It was a team comp win. It was a pressure win by Kongdoo Monsters rather than a bloody game. And this time CJ, if they learned anything from that previous game, honestly they should have learned it from game 2 last week. Get some true engage, because every time they try to be cute, go for these creative comps with no engage, they get punished.
You can see the Varus has gotten a respect ban out here against Edge, so CJ taking that one away. No first ban Zed, there's hope, Papa. It could happen.
Will he see 2 mid lane bans? Corki's going to be banned out as well, so it looks like team comps will be different. And remember though, it's different for Kongdoo to ban Zed on the blue side than it is to ban on red side. On blue side, CJ Entus would have to blind pick Zed, and that's a situation which you won't want to be in. But when CJ's on the red side, you could last pick counter pick Zed. That's when it's much easier to ban. So when you're on blue, as Kongdoo, you have the freedom to ban out champions like Zed. But when you're on red, you have to ban out these must bans, otherwise you're going to see a real OP, or at least a perceived OP, make it away on first pick.
I just want it to happen. Logic aside, first pick the Zed, please, BDD. I want to see it in play.
They're going to pick a flex champion, and they're going to pick their mid laner last. Let's be real, they do not want to get assassined by BDD.
Very true. GP's yet to be banned. That's been banned in every other game today so far. Zed will be the final ban here.
Crazy to see.
For Kongdoo.
Not since Mickey from Rebels Anarchy, and now, of course, the Afrika Freaks. So we've seen red and blue side Zed bans, but such is the respect for BDD's 74% win rate, high challenger Zed. And Tara, he's got 2 champions that we've shown a lot of respect on. That is the Poppy and the Fiora. The Fiora didn't work out. The Tahm Kench certainly did his job holding fast in lane, so maybe first pick Poppy makes a lot of sense for CJ, because instantly they have disengage, but they also have the massively strong engage that Poppy provides.
Yeah, but there's also, of course, Hippo on the other side could just pick up that Nautilus, which has been something that is used as an answer for Poppy. And you can see right there the instant hover. I'd be really surprised to see if they don't lock that in.
I feel like Gangplank deserves his spot in a team comp on 6.4, but I would have said the same thing about Nautilus. The obvious laning counter pick, the one that we see for team comp, is the Trundle. Provides disengage, but also gets to the point pretty quickly where he can just split push away and there's nothing Poppy can do. We saw that earlier tonight already. And maybe it'd be Tahm Kench time again. Who's to say what Kongdoo Monster want to cook up for the second game? They've shown a lot of skill on the poke comp. Varus gone, Corki gone. Looks like it'll be difficult to construct a really powerful poke comp, but Caitlyn's still around, and who knows what might come through.
Yeah, and there's a hover on the Trundle here as well. This would be a repeat of the matchup that we saw in, I believe, game 1 of Spenu versus Janair earlier. They did run Trundle. We're not able to get that win, however, so it looks like this is going to be the lock-in, at least as well, coming in the jungle for Crush.
It's a very transparent draft. Of course, there is always the outside chance of a support Trundle, but heavily expecting to see the top lane Trundle split pushing away the Poppy. Where does CJ want to go with their draft, as BDD shows us another champion is synonymous with? We're not going to see...
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
We're not going to see that one just yet. Trademark champions for multiple players across the board. I want to see Mad Life back on Bard. This guy is an insane Bard player. Bubbling. Most well known in his challenger days for his Lee Sin.
This could be a really good pickup.
He has been spamming Kindred games in solo queue. I think we're going to see the Kindred.
It would make sense. This is the never dying team with Kindred and the Bard ultimate.
Talking about periodic invulnerability, I believe 5 seconds plus stacking of invulnerability. Babbling has, again, been playing this champion almost exclusively in solo queue, so not a surprise to see it in. We've seen precious little Kindred, so 1 game from Flawless last series, the Devourer Kindred. I think this time it's going to be the Warrior again. I wasn't convinced by Devourer Kindred.
More than likely, but you do get to see your Bard, so something to be happy
Mad Life's Bard. I think he's the best Bard in the league. Apologies to Sweet, who has the Sweet Bard that we've never seen. Apologies to Pure, who plays Bard whenever it's available. But Mad Life's Bard, his conceptualization of fights, I was watching him play solo queue, and he's just really, really smart at playing around what is a very difficult to execute champion. Bard's a champion where you miss your Q, you miss your R, you basically do nothing. So, very high skill cap, and the Nautilus comes out anyway,
so we're going to have a support jungle.
Well, we basically got 4 tanks here. Of course, Lissandra is a pseudo-tank in that she goes in the front line, and with Zonia's and her self-ult can zone space for 5 seconds, and Elise will most likely build tank. So, they're setting up for a high-damage carry. I don't know, Kog'Maw's available. Really looking like we're going to see a last-pick Kog'Maw.
Yeah, we did see that banned away in the first game. So Kongdoo, and that was banned away by CJ, so Kongdoo may be looking to get that for themselves. It would be really powerful pickup for them.
I don't think CJ can draft Kog'Maw in this situation. I feel like Kongdoo are almost telegraphing Kog'Maw. We have not seen much Azir play at all.
No, not it.
Champions.
Yeah.
After his last round of nerfs, people have completely moved away, feeling like the payoff is not there for a champion that was once a cornerstone of the meta.
It's going to get locked in.
Wow, so Azir comes back.
A really bold block in by BDD, but I mean, they do call him Faker too. Better way to prove yourself than by playing the Azir.
I think you just lock Kog'Maw if you're Kongdoo. I guess it's an argument for maybe Ashe, but you need damage. You need damage aplenty. Kog'Maw is available, has been consistently banned. Previous series, you've got a front line of Nautilus, Trundle, Lissandra, and Elise. You don't have space to move around on Kog'Maw, you never will. Is a strong Siege champion as well, as we've proven, actually in 6.2 games, less than 6.3. Now, you worry about Poppy getting into your backline, but I think you have to be confident going for that, but maybe they'll go a lot more conservative with this last pick.
Just 10 seconds left. You can see them talking about this in the room, just trying to figure out what would be the best course of action. It looks like they might just go for this Lucian.
Lucian, to me, is very conservative. It is locked in. One of the issues you have is that you've got Trundle as your support, so Trundle, Kog'Maw, there is that scenario where maybe it'd be too hard to get through the laning phase. You'd think if you could just force a lane swap, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Lucian had the very small nerf, lost 200 range on his max range culling, so otherwise basically the same spellcasting carry, but they're not willing to opt into the power trough for Kog'Maw, and suddenly they've got early power spikes across the map. They're ready to fight. This isn't a siege comp anymore. It's a much more balanced comp for Kongdoo Monster. And I think it's on CJ, and I think the jungle matchup once again will tell a tale. Let's see if Bubbling can be as aggressive as Flawless was earlier, because Flawless did a lot of great work on Kindred in the previous game, dueling up against his opponent. CJ have to make things happen in the early game, but it's going to be difficult against a Kongdoo Monster lineup that, as we were saying, is powerful in the early to mid game and doesn't necessarily fall off in late.
Yeah. How do you feel about this Azir Lissandra matchup in short? How do you think that's going to go down?
I mean, Lissandra's short range, so you can definitely punish with cleanse. There's not a lot of kill pressure either. It's going to be fascinating to see Azir back in the meta.
Yeah.
A lot of note buttons between the Poppy and the Azir ult, but time for Kramer to scale, Blue Ezreal plenty, and only Intara for engage. It's a difficult one, but achievable for CJ Entus.
All right, well, we'll see if the Bard in the bot lane from CJ can deliver. We're going to be right back, go to a quick break. When we come back, it's CJ Game 2 versus Kongdoo Monster.
Find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on mother.
And we are back just like that. Game 2 on the Rift. See a lot of people cheering for CJ despite being the team down in the series. Kongdoo still just really impressing us with that first win. But now we have BDD on a champion that seems like he's a bit more comfortable with.
Very well known for his Azir. You look back to some of those BDD montages that both English and Korean fans know only so well. And there's plenty of Zed, there's plenty of assassin play, but his Azir is also a real treat to watch. So what better than to see the grand re-entrance of Azir than to see one of the Azir masters in BDD get a chance to play it.
Should be quite good. You see Madlife, of course, trying to go very aggressive with that Thunderlord's Decree. This Keystone Mastery. Everybody else keeping it very consistent. But I mean, we've seen a lot of bards run that as well. So good stuff. Looks like they might be looking for a catch as the bot lane comes down to this river.
It's a nice defensive ward. Hasn't timed out yet. Not going to time out until about 140, so well placed by Kongdoo. Seem to have a timer for it though, CJ. They haven't walked over it yet. Looks like they're spotted out.
do throw down a ward of their own. Cougar and Soul coming around the side. Cougar's pretty far forward. Gets the stun onto Soul, however, so would stave off any aggression by that Kongdoo bot lane, so they will be able to just go ahead and back right out of this.
And uniquely, no one gets any extra experience. Remember, Kramer got CJ off to a big lead with first blood on Soul last game.
Yeah.
But that was what accelerated his power spikes. Going to be much more on a standard timer now that he doesn't have that first blood gold. No 3-minute tiers this time. 3-minute tiers for both teams. Kongdoo depressed about first blood.
Yeah.
Kramer with his Tear of the Goddess in the inventory.
Yeah, not this time, however. We can see already BDD, though, just hammering down on edge with those Sand Soldiers.
Cleanse Zia used to be one of the best matchups into Lissandra just because she's a short-range mage, short to mid-range at best.
Yeah.
And so the Sand Soldier attacks, and with the Thunderlord's proc as well, makes the laning phase pretty rough for Lissandra.
Yeah, you can see Mad Life just posturing forward in this lane, just trying to keep Soul as far back as possible from that wave.
To be clear, this is Bard. Bard's level 1 is insane among supports. We think of level 2 power spikes. Bard at level 1, with the nature of his meeps and his auto attacks, means that he basically procs Thunderlords with one spell.
Yeah.
And then his Q is high base damage, and also the 1.5 second stun means that trading with him is impossible. So Bard wins you that level 1 race. Mad Life is a master of this champion, so it'll be a treat as he decides to leave.
Yep, already going on a magical journey, comes around the sidelines as they go to stop Crush from taking that blue buff.
I love Bard, he's great.
I'm ready for the insane 5-person gank.
It's the ult, his ult usage, his conceptualization, whether it's peeling or initiation, it just betrays. This guy is a veteran of the scene, he's played a lot of League of Legends at the highest level, and Bard is so strong in the hands of a pro Bard player, and then when I play him and miss everything, does nothing, so...
Oh, I'm a god-awful Bard.
It's just fun how there'll be support players that draw Bard bans, and there'll be people that just never pick Bard. It feels like there's no other support champion that is so polarizing on opinion. The best Bard player's got a ban. Everybody else is just passed over as a champion.
Yeah. Not everybody can play it to effect, so... It's a damn shame. Maybe something that everybody should consider.
You have to think it's one of those scenarios where eventually everyone will get there, and maybe Bard will see some nerfs when everyone becomes on the level of what Mad Life and Pure have already shown in 2016.
Yeah. Even other regions we've been seeing it.
Aframu, wonderful Bard player.
Aframu's a really good one. Matt Life, or just Matt now, I guess, from Team Liquid as well. Kasing in EU. There's a lot of people that have been picking it up, so it's definitely growing in popularity.
Only 2 in each league, though. You can't have more than 2. So it's a gentleman's agreement.
That's
2 people
limit.
get Bard, no one else.
And it's just first come, first serve.
Do you reckon there's an underground Bard meetup where 8 people just show up, love Bard, we know everything, they talk about all his intricacies, but no one else gets that memo. Secret information.
Well, fortunately, we have one of the members of the club here on the game
Definitely.
for us, so going to be looking forward to Mad Life making some flashy plays as this game progresses. So far, pretty relaxed start to this match. Bubbling, not throwing, super aggressive into the enemy jungle. Crush rotating up to this top side, though, will get spotted out by that ward in the river brush, so Kutara is going to keep himself pretty safe for the time being. And the Farm Fest continues. Really, this is the most action we've been getting, is BDD just shredding through Edge's health with these Sand Soldiers in the mid lane.
Oh, Bubbling, he's actually looking for the trade here on
Yeah,
Crush.
goes in on a Crush. He has nothing to repel to until he gets to the Krugs. He will be able to do so, but good damage by Bubbling. Could be sending Crush back to base a little bit sooner than he had previously intended.
I've been impressed with BDD and Bubbling's timing. You notice that BDD has had this lane pushed up the majority of the laning phase.
Yep.
He's going to take a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
But he's had the lane pushed up, he's had lane control, Edge has been choked out, so why not? Just go for those invades. You already have, from level 2 onwards, the really big skirmishing advantage in Kindred, and Bubbling responding well, so good initial synergy between Bubbling and BDD.
They're doing quite well. See Mad Life just going on another magical journey.
You would think that just leaving lane would open up a 2v1 against your AD, but picks his spots well.
He's Ezreal. He's just going to E away from you.
Ah, yes. Good old Ezreal.
Especially once he gets the Iceborne Gauntlet, and then you just cannot catch him either.
Well, then he has like no cooldown on his E.
Yeah.
And yeah, exercise and frustration slowed down him opening up more and more distance.
Yeah, so far bot lane going quite well here for Kramer and Mad Life. 13 CS up over top of Soul's Lucian, who's been just contained underneath the tower the entirety of this game so far.
Bubbling invested in the Hunter's Potion, so I'm hoping it's not Hunter's Potion into Devourer for the most scaling, but there is an outside chance.
I guess you never know. Hippo just going to...
The OG Nautilus top.
Yeah, TP to the minion. That was 3 feet in front of this tower.
Well, in this day and age, you don't get any refund from TPing onto a teleport, so you might as well make an entrance.
Yeah. Just go for it. I guess it does stop that minion, and then all of the other ones sit there to just hit it, even though it's invulnerable, so you just save that 1 CS that you would have missed. So
it's not just the CS, it's about pushing back minion waves as well. You can do some interesting minion control, because the minions will all focus on that 1 minion that's invulnerable, so you can potentially get a pushback if you're looking for that.
It's like that TP is like directly in front of Untara's face.
You definitely notice him very conspicuous as Nautilus when he shows up. That's why it's hilarious that the meta build for Nautilus is stacking movement speed, because the slowest champion in the game casually walks in. Speaking of getting caught.
Yeah, Mad Life maybe in a bad spot, does not have that magical journey. Gets a double stun. Holds onto the flash, uses it now, but the dash forward by Soul will finish him off and find the first blood for Kongdoo. Just a bad roam by Mad Life. Bad timing there, and now Kramer, without a support, is going to have to head back to base.
Yeah, solo warding mission from Mad Life. Usually the safest of all champions to do that with is the Bard, but we're still caught. Tried to open up distance with the flash after the double stun, but counter flash from Soul. First blood goes over to Kongdoo Monsters.
Yep, Kramer not able to get in range to, potentially use the heal to maybe save his life, but good on Kongdoo to be able to collapse down on top of him.
Interested to see if BDD goes greedy with this item build. Usually we see Azias, and again, we're looking back to 2015 with a lot of this analysis, but they usually are forced to go into the Abyssal Scepter.
Yeah.
So he started off with the Stinger. Will he actually go straight for National's Tooth, or respect the all-in from Edge and get the Abyssal Scepter? I mean, both will probably come out eventually, but I don't know if you can hold off on the Null Magic Mantle.
Speaking of which, we can see that Edge does have one for himself, as well as a second Doran's ring. So just trying to get as much last ability in lane as possible.
He needs laning stats. He's been losing the laning trades, something chronic, 17 CS behind without any jungle attention whatsoever, so doesn't have the chance to be greedy and go for anything else.
Pretty rough, and then I can see after getting that kill on the Soul, feeling a lot more comfortable to go ahead and start pushing that lane away from their tower.
It's the usual story of Tia Sheen versus Flat AD, so Kongdoo once again in a good spot to start the dragon stacking.
Yep.
Especially if BDD stays in lane, or if they can chunk him out, then first dragon should be an easy objective to put off. That's why I want BDD to go for the insurance. Get the counter Null Magic Mantle. Get your own magic just to ensure that he can keep this laning phase pushed in. Because if both mid and bot are pushed in, then we're going to have issues in terms of actually being able to contest the dragon.
Yep, no, Kramer's just going to get... Actually, doesn't even get a little bit of damage because Soul cannot get the hit on him in time. But complete 180 on this bot lane is now it's Soul and Google the ones pushing into the tower, keeping Kramer and Mad Life contained.
Helps when you don't die at level 1.
Yeah, helps quite a bit. With that pressure, it's just going to make going for Mad Life, getting those meeps that much harder, and he's be that much more selective about it.
Bubbling has gone Devourer, so Hunter's Potion Devourer and Tier Ezreal. This is CJ saying, we don't respect your early game. We don't respect you making early objective moves and punishing us for delaying our power spikes, something chronic. This is very, very greedy play from CJ. And once Kongdoo get that confirmation, they need to be the assertive team, because think about what happens if Kongdoo puts down 2 pink wards around Dragon. Who is going to face check Nautilus, Elise, Lissandra? That's like the most instant cast CC and burst you could ever ask for.
Yeah.
So it's on Kongdoo to use the comp, the very impressive pick comp they have, and just start these objectives. The CJ very clearly have no interest based on their itemization contesting.
That looks like this will be a recall for the bot lane. Cougar.
It's going to get interrupted.
Yeah, he's going to... No, he's just going to let it happen.
Oh, okay.
So they will go ahead and let that happen. Perhaps go for...
Should be dragon time.
Shove on that, but yeah, the dragon getting ready to be contested. Bubbling is hovering around. Does have a ward in the back of the pit, so he will know if they go for it, at least if they go to clear out the vision around it. Oh,
think it's a mistake not going for the Dragon, honestly. They were in such a great position to take it. They don't actually have information that's being taken.
Crush might have some inkling of an idea.
He does.
Mad Life is here to back him up. Throws out the stun though, so they won't be able to stun him out of smiting. So this could just be a smite war. Bubbling just flashes out of the pit and surrenders it over to Crush. So first Dragon for Kongdoo, 12 minutes in.
Not the way I expected them to pick up the first Dragon, but still a deserved first Dragon based on timing. The only reason you don't interrupt that back is to take the Dragon yourself, so I was very surprised that Kongdoo missed that opportunity. It is the Nationals Tooth Rush. This is very greedy from BDD, but his trade damage right now is through the roof.
Yeah, we can see that Crush is around the sidelines now. Hippo getting jumped on. BDD goes in, but he is still a very tanky Nautilus with that Sunfire Cape finish, so not going to be able to get really any damage in onto him.
He flashed away as well, which
That's
helps.
true. That's true. That is a very good Sunfire spell to have burned out by your opponent. So
the Azir Sec play could not be made because of Flash.
so good by them, but still Kongdoo sitting pretty comfortably with that Dragon. Gold's about even, but the more items that come in, the better they will scale with that 6% additional stats in their pocket.
It's just the way the gold has been spent. Kramer spent all his gold on mana and a bit of armor.
Yeah.
He has some base damage increasing from the Sheen, but nothing else to speak about. Bubbling's going for the very greedy Devourer, but I have to assume that Devourer Kindred is one of those popular things in Korean solo, because we certainly never saw it in the previous iterations of Kindred, pre-6.2.
Yeah.
So they're investing in later, and Kongdoo have invested in early power spikes everywhere. Sunfire, Runic Echo, Abyssal Scepter, very close to the Essence Reaver. Basically, there's power in every lane, so this is a window for Kongdoo. And what they do with it, so far it's just a Dragon. Again, kind of a lucky Dragon in the grand scheme of things. They should start pushing other advantages, though, because they've been given literally the biggest invitation to have their way with CJ pre-25-30 minutes.
But, you know, if there's anything that about this that works for CJ's advantage is that you know, if they want to wait for the end of the game, the games do go very long, so they can scale.
Sure, but you only get to wait if the enemy lets you wait.
That's true.
Rocks Tigers don't let you wait.
Yeah.
And CJ would not draft like this versus the Rocks Tigers, because they would lose, and they would lose hard.
They did lose regardless of how they drafted against the Rocks Tigers.
Okay, that's a bit of a moot point. Point taken.
No, I understand your point, though. You see Crush did roam down, try to find something. Bubbling does dodge out on that Cocoon, but here comes Edge, throws down the Frozen Tomb. BDD goes in, though. They do pop the Lissandra. Ultimate catches only Nautilus. BDD is going to have to be on the run. Pillar comes out, hooks it the other side, though. They can't knock BDD towards them. But this could just be Crush gaining some ground in Bubbling's jungle as he goes for this red buff. Overall, 1-1 trade.
Gotta remember that Kindred wants to hold on to that ult as long as possible, and Lissandra has CC that Kindred can't ult through, so if you hold on to the Lissandra ultimate, you just burn them down. It's the inherent, or the implied tankiness for Bubbling never exists. So, good use of that timing, good use of that cooldown. It ends up being a 1-for-1, so a bit of a wash, but they take the turret crucially, and that's the sort of situation. If there's a 1-for-1 trade, Kongdoo better be coming out in advantage in terms of objectives, because otherwise you're opting into that late game against CJ.
Yep, Tar goes in against Hippo, not really going to be able to do any damage to each other. They're just too damn tanky at this point.
Noodle fight.
Yep, over and over again. Just not going to be able to push into the tower either. Neither of these people can take towers from each other.
Whenever I see these tank fights, I wish both of them had, as you can see, the Nationals 2 down. I wish both of the champions had the, you know, the TPA Shen Thundersticks auto attack animation, so it sounds like it's hitting you with wet noodles, basically. Because no one's killing each other in this top lane.
Yeah, it's just going to be stagnant for the next eternity, I think. Looks like Rift Herald is going to be taken, though, by Bubbling and Intara.
Ah, yes, Rift Herald.
Yep.
This was the series where we saw a team kill Rift Herald and back and not even pick up the buff.
Yep.
This time, though, Intara will take it.
It's okay. At least they didn't get double executed by it like a certain North American team.
Yeah.
That was just a
Maybe Monty's not watching. He'll let you get away with that. It's fine.
No, it's okay. It's not like Dignitas did much better in that game either. So
taking your shots at NA, man. That's your region.
I'm in Korea now.
That's true.
Isn't that was in the contract, was it not?
I think that was clause 6.2.
Yeah.
Take shots at NA.
No, that was just a very rare happening like in a game.
We saw a lot of rare happenings last week.
Yeah.
Buffalus was finally minted.
Yeah. Peanut. Well done, Italy.
Is he ever going to shake Buffalus as a nickname? It's pretty technical.
That's pretty solid.
It's up there with Gold V. And Plat Evil. Keep it up, Reddit. You're good at those memes.
Yeah. But you can see Kongdoo still just inching very slightly ahead. 1.2 thousand separating these teams. Up a dragon, which is pretty solid. So that's going to continue.
I do like the disrespect of BDD.
Ooh, Bubbling gets caught by that cocoon. Takes a lot of damage from the calling. He does get to jump to safety. No Lamb's Respite needed.
Do you like the disrespect? Doesn't find any room for defensive stats.
Yeah.
It's probably still going to be in Abyssal Scepter, but no one told Bubbling.
See where he decides to go with this. So far, just having that one assist. The Azir unable to find any real kills, but still doing really well as far as the CS control goes.
But this is the strange part. Why is Soul pushing minions into the inner turret? Like, how is that the best use of the pressure they have on the bot side? Okay, Dragon sounds. Oh boy.
Oh.
But it feels like rotating around this Lucian, maybe going to top and taking the turret from Poppy, who can't really do much, or going mid and trying to punish Azir. I feel like passing over minions under your inner turret is not what you want to be doing to this Ezreal, who's still scaling up.
Yeah. BDD doing a lot of damage to Edge. This could make CJ maybe want to go for this Dragon. Looks like they're just going to go for vision control, however. Word Trinket does get used on the Dragon, so this will give enough time for Kongdoo to collapse back down towards the Dragon Pit and contest this should they decide to start it. It's going to be the Azir Sec play onto Crush, who looks like he's going to get melted, and he does. BDD finds his first kill of the game, second in involvement. Nice pick off, and that should open up CJ for that Dragon.
Crush just too aggressive, didn't have any vision, didn't know where any of the opponents were, and just walked straight into the Dragon and died.
Yeah.
So, nice pick from BDD.
He knew they weren't taking it. There was no need to just rush through the brushes like that.
There were just so few places on the map the enemies could be, and then he found all of them. Had that reunion with the enemy team that he just wasn't looking for.
Yep, so just like that, second Dragon of the game does go down this time to CJ Entus. 19 minutes.
You know what even dragons means? We could be going long.
It's going to be a long game. Both teams get 5 dragons. There's 6 barons.
I've seen 5 and 4. I don't know if I've seen 5 and 5.
I think it's happened before.
Well, to be fair, the 5th buff runs out at some point, but I have seen a team get 5th dragon and then the enemy team get to a 4th. So
I think I've seen double 5s before.
Oh boy.
I can't think of what series it would have been, but I'm pretty sure that it's happened. It might have been a challenger tournament.
Sure it wasn't a scrim?
Maybe.
I think you GG out of those scrims. Like, well, okay guys, let's go get Chipotle. Screw this.
Oh, I got first blood at 4 minutes. FF.
Hey, I've been in those scrims. They're depressing. Well, say the Devourer is acquired. If he gets enough of the passive stacks, you can understand the use. We haven't seen the players actually go for offensive items that obviously... Oh, teleport coming
this
through.
is going to be TP from Muntara. Bar ultimate comes across, catches both of them. Muntara can't dash through the wall here, finds Crush, doesn't get the stun. He does get to repel up. It's going to be Kongdoo with a really nice collapse. BDD taken down to half HP. Kramer get popped on the sidelines, but the Lamb's Respite is there to try to keep him alive. He does not get the heal. He's trying to dash back. Looks like he will make it to safety. Tara, meanwhile, on the other side, running for his life. BDD with the Azir Sec does get a kill onto Lucian. They're trying to turn this one around, but it looks like it's just going to be the disengage. Overall, a 1-for-1, a jungler for an ADC.
So many tools were used for burst, but in the end, it looked like Kongdoo were smarter in playing around their threats with Nautilus at the front, and Tara was split away from the rest of his team, and Nautilus being the one-man frontline we know he can be. We're going to see a replay. Again, excellent Bard ultimate, and Tara comes over the wall, but they're looking for that first pick as everyone claps. Remember, Lucian's not even at this fight, so it should be a rout for CJ Entus. In the backline, Bubbling was on point with the exact timing on the Lamb's Respite, but you can see if this fight goes long enough, no one's going through Hippo. Very nice formation from Kongdoo. It could have been worse, but ends up pretty even. BDD showing us why he's so respected. It was a really nice play to get the answering kill on Lucian, because if Lucian had kept fighting, that fight would have been very one-sided for Kongdoo.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice ultimate. But overall, just 1-for-1. Gold separating these guys about 400. Pretty negligible. No towers yet to be taken by CJ Entus, which would certainly give them the edge in this fight so far, but just not able to find any ground as far as that goes as an objective.
Kramer has to respect Cassandra. Cassandra 2-item. Well, I guess flat AP and the Abyssal Scepter still has a lot of burst, and no magic resist yet acquired for Kramer.
Took a little bit longer for that one. We can see we're just roaming over here.
It's good to see, though. This is what I was talking about before. There's no point Soul pushing minions into the inner turret. Rotate the AD carry into other lanes.
Yeah, try to go for the outer turret, so he should be able to add a bit of pressure, but he still has to be really respectful of BDD.
These shouldn't be their solo. I feel like there should be other members rotating through mid to help him push down. He has excellent turret damage, Lucian, but obviously isn't the longest range carry.
Yep.
So has to respect, as you mentioned, BDD.
Who has the damage now starting to come through, does have the needlessly large rod picked up. See where he wants to go with that. If he's going to continue being very aggressive, it could just be the Rapid instead cap. But
I think Luden's Echo is probably the more realistic aggressive choice. Movement speed can help you offensively and defensively. He's not going to build Zonius, let's be real.
Yeah, probably not. After that Nashor's Tooth rush. Though he didn't get punished for it, to be fair.
No.
Missed opportunity by Kongdoo. Bit of damage goes forward onto that mid-tier 1 tower using those Sand Soldiers, of course, to get that execute damage. We'll be able to take that down, but meanwhile, Hippo up the top lane, all by his lonesome, takes down the tier 1. So it's going to be 2 towers to 0 in favor of Kongdoo as they stretch that gold lead just a little bit further.
Is it enough? Is it enough when your opponent opted into Devourer and Tier? It's a question that we don't know the answer to. Equal in kills, equal in dragons, less than 2,000 gold. It seems like CJ are ahead of expectations given just how greedy they were with their item builds.
Yeah, now we can see this is going to collapse onto Edge here. The ball part ultimate comes through, but Edge dodges out on that one, but the tower is just completely useless. Frozen Tomb onto himself. Mad Life taking that up. He actually might go down for this one. The Lamp Spike comes across. They do finish off Edge, takes the magical journey through, and Mad Life will die in the end as Guger has Ignite.
It's 1-for-1s really are to the advantage of CJ, though.
Yeah, they keep getting the more desirable kill on that one, especially with Edge for Mad Life.
It isn't even the desirableness. It's 1-for-1 when you have a scaling comp. It just buys you more time. It means you're getting equal gold with your opponents. And it is time, though, for Soul to push in mid. He should be able to punish. It seems like BD was DPS down a mid, maybe through the culling. They are able to pick up another objective. The objectives are the only thing keeping the nose ahead of Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah. There's also both supports got the kills there, too, so it's very...
bloodthirsty.
Yeah. But still...
Wow, it's going to be Rylai's, actually, so...
Oh, yeah,
pick item.
So just really trying to lock everybody in and keep them slowed. Oh god, Rylai's Crystal Scepter plus Iceborne Gauntlet Ezreal.
Slows don't stack, but it means people are going to be slowed all the time.
Yeah.
It's basically AoE, 15 to 20% slow.
It's actually not showing any sign of going for the Iceborne Gauntlet right now.
Interesting. So we might actually see Trinity Force Ezreal.
Could be. Quite possibly. Just sitting on a longsword, that can go a plethora of ways, so who knows what that is actually going to end up being. But Dragon spawning third of the game. Kongdoo in perfect position to go ahead and pick this one up. And looks like they're going to be able to do just that, unless Kramer gets a miraculous steal. It's not going to happen. So that's the second Dragon for Kongdoo, which is going to make taking these towers, which Soul has proven quite effective at, that much easier.
They 1-3-1, which they're very likely to do. They have turret damage in every lane.
Colin comes across, burns through that minion wave, so it will keep CJ from taking that mid-tier 1, finding their first turret of the game.
They're just looking for a teleport play.
Not able to find it quite just yet. It's going to be Mad Life going into the Baron pit.
Sun turret goes down.
And they're all going to stay safe for the most part. Bubbling finds that pink ward, going to be able to clear that out, but overall, it's going to be a big old disengage after that dragon gets taken. Of course, Bubbling just hops to safety over the wall.
CJ, happy with how this game is going. Again, once you draft and build this way, you're not expecting to be ahead, but they were punished for letting the early game get away from them in game 1.
Wait.
Monster again ahead in game 2.
Oh, that's odd. So the pink ward in Kramer's inventory is actually an Iceborne Gauntlet.
Ah.
So it's just an icon bug. I was gonna say, because I just saw
that makes a lot more sense.
I saw the circle, and I was like really surprised. I was like, because he bought the Sheen.
I also remembered.
Yeah, he bought the Sheen. Okay. Okay.
I like how this is like an infinite stacking pink ward.
Yeah.
Every time he uses the Iceborne Gauntlet, it's off cooldown.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was really confused because I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, I could have sworn he bought the Sheen, and then he would have had to have sold it to buy a QSS. Like,
that's great.
So that's
a great bug.
That's a very entertaining bug.
I was watching the OPL yesterday, and there was a bug where Nidalee was permanently in Cougar form, even though she was throwing spears and healing people. That was funny too.
That sounds wonderful. That's gonna be really. Is it just, you know, if it was just a spectator? I'm assuming it was just spectator.
It was just a spectator.
God,
you would
imagine
so.
In game, you can't tell what form Nidalee's in. Like, is she gonna leap away? Is she
it's like weird that Nidalee's in Cougar form the whole time.
Yeah.
In the late game. That was a pretty good bug. Good job, Riot. You made the bugs fun.
How is this cat throwing a spear at my face?
Kongdoo trying to get some Baron control. Really not much happening at this juncture.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go for a Baron play quite just yet. But you never know.
So you're here in Korea for a week now.
Yes.
What do you learned about Korea? What are your first impressions?
Well, the food's great.
Okay.
I knew that. Oh, that's going to be the flash away from Googer. Avoids that Bard ultimate.
You were a Korean food aficionado in your NA days,
That's
I believe.
very true. Living with Piglet and Phoenix.
Good mate,
Liquid
Piglet.
House.
Miso. Thank you
Miso.
very much.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot.
We're in champions now. He's Miso.
I do have to call him Miso. Yeah.
He's also a top laner, so that's awkward, but never mind.
Living with them, you get to try all types of Korean food. Piglet makes pretty good ramen, so.
I'll remember that.
Pretty good microwavable ramen.
It's a real skill. He's quite bullish about it.
Yeah. Now the whole house just often smelled like kimchi.
So you were in a house with Korean privilege.
Yep, basically. You can see bubbling maybe a little bit too far forward. Has to pop some lands for Spite. Probably doesn't want to stay in this one for too long. Calling comes across. Bad Life with a nice body block, but Soul dashes forward. Not able to find the killing blow. Now Kramer has to flash away as well. Meanwhile, BDD over here trying to finish off Crush. It's going to be the teleport coming through from Hippo. Frozen Tomb comes down. Nice cleanse to keep him safe. It looks like that might just be the disengage. A lot of damage exchanged over to both sides, but no kills coming out yet again.
How does no one die? Insane. It took so long between the fights in the other lanes for the top laners to respond. They've got the CC. They're the initiators. People fall low, and Tara actually cancels his teleport. And, yeah, looks like we'll take a turret.
Yeah, so making the best out of a bland situation, I suppose, but this is actually going to be
a bland situation? Have you seen the rest of this game? That was the exciting situation.
That's true. I mean, bland in the sense that nothing really came of it. But he doesn't even get the tower, so Hippo does arrive in time to keep that one alive. So CJ is still just struggling to find these objectives. One dragon, really the only thing they've been able to take. Still 0 towers, all of the outers standing for Kongdoo.
It's in this weird situation comp-wise where Untara is an initiator. It's just he needs a flank, just like we were talking about now. Yeah. His flanks are easier. He doesn't need a Lulu friend to be able to get the big knock-up initiate. But everyone else on this comp, Kramer and Bubbling obviously want to kite backwards, safe lamps respite. BDD, you can make a Ziasek plays, but at this point in the game, without Zonias, you'll probably be punished for them. So again, you probably want to kite backwards. It's kind of Untara at the front and not really a diver. Unless, for example, Mad Life gets a 4-man ult and then everyone piles on top of the ultimate. So again, it's weird zones for CJ to play around. If they're ahead in Dragons, if they're fighting around Barons, CJ can do interesting things. Yeah. It's just all these fights have kind of been out in the open. And
just
then,
in the middle of the lane.
And there's just no way for them to use their small initiation, their small pockets of CC to actually get the pick. That's why the deaths haven't come through. And again, it's another very low kill game. 8 kills in 30 minutes.
Yep. You can see those Soul doing quite nicely with his CS, 326 at the 31-minute mark just about. With all that damage that he's acquired for himself via these items, looks like they're just going to go for this.
Shoprai's going to check it.
Yeah, it is going to check it, but it's not going to kill it, so they do know that this is happening.
Still on it.
It's a matter of CJ getting in here and trying to stop this one. The Bard ultimate comes through and will stop it. That should be the disengage necessary, but this is going to be the TP coming in. Nice pop away knocking Crush out of the fight now. Antara just going straight into the front lines. Edge has already died. Looks like they're turning on to Cougar, who's down to about half HP. Nice deny on that grab from Hippo. Cannot Spider-Man over to the wall. BDD finds that kill, and CJ Entus finally finding the fight that they needed to find some ground in this game.
Antara was so smart holding onto his W cooldown to deny the Entus Spider-Man escape from Nautilus, and Nautilus dies. Now they start the bind. It's 5v3. Crush is denied, doesn't have flash, could look for a repel play. Really low chance of picking that up, but CJ finally get ahead.
Yeah, doesn't want to go for the steal. Not reliable enough and no way to get out.
Edge.
Opts to just go ahead and live, and yeah, Edge just getting
He found a flank ward, but he got instantly CC'd. Doesn't have a QSS of his own. Watch the replay here. Just watch everyone and see that they had a ward in their brush. They knew it. Madlife gets the stun against the wall, instantly killed is Lysandra, and then it's 5v4, and even with a balanced team fight comp and a strong front line, there's nowhere to go, but look at this timing. So many Poppy players would have used that W just as a speeder, instead holding it to deny the escape. Good play from Antara, as expected on the Poppy.
Yeah, just showing that he really is prominent on this, and Madlife as well. Both of these guys showing that they know the timings necessary to excel on these champions. Fantastic stun. That was, I'm pretty sure, the same frame. And I'm going to have to hold that thought because it looks like we have another fight coming across. His bubbling is just too far forward. He's going to go down. Throws down the Lamb's Respite for the hell of it, just trying to get some damage out of the enemy, but he will fall in the end. It's going to be Edge finding his first kill. But that is 2 towers picked up for CJ Entus as Antara finishes off the top tier 1 as well.
Long death timer, 50 seconds, but given that CJ's picked up the Baron buff, no real way to pressure around the map. Suddenly, Nautilus will struggle to clear minions, and CJ pick up the objective trade. So a death for 2 turrets, certainly fine for CJ.
3 in the end.
3 turrets, wow, and finally find themselves in a good spot gold-wise.
Yeah, they also got their second dragon during that replay. It's also still a really solid pickup here, as they would call it in NA, a great Baron power play, probably.
Baron power plays. We don't have that technology at OGN. We still don't have banners around our bases for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. Riot,
good.
please.
Oh, please, a Kongdoo monster banner.
I know! The one-eyed monster. Who would ever want to go in that base?
Go fight the base of the one-eyed monster.
That is a scenario I want to avoid, Gilius.
Well, for CJ, it's a scenario that they want very much. And now with this Baron buff, they might be able to make it a reality.
Nobody told BDD that Zonia's was an item?
I guess not.
Death cap?
Yeah. He's just going to go for every single needlessly large rod item except for
I want to see
Zonia's.
CJ win a 2-1 series and BDD not die. We're on
So
track for that.
on
Neither BDD nor Kramer have died once this series, and they're 1-0 down, and it's a second game at 35 minutes.
3-0-2. Pretty solid 61 CS ahead of Edge.
But on the flip side, Soul is the same amount of CS ahead of Kramer.
That's very true. It does balance out.
This game's still very finely poised. To be smart about clearing up that flank vision, although both teleports down for at least another 20 seconds on the side of Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah, it's really Antara the one that needs to worry about that TP as he is splitting in the bot side of the map.
Hippo's waiting.
He's going to be able to get that. By the look of it, yep. Hippo just coming back way too late. Antara going to be able to take this tower just like that. Furthering the gold lead for CJ Entus, now 3,700 ahead of Kongdoo. They're just strangling the life out of his team.
Problem for Nautilus is he really wants the home guard buff, so he's stepping back from his turret and is taking chip damage. He's already given up the inner turret, looking for a teleport flank. We can see on our mini-map, doesn't look like there's any real appetizing wards, I believe. No, that is not a trinket ward, that is a ward that can be teleported to, but Nautilus is being punished for looking for the engage. CJ have been smart on their flanks, and remember, even when it feels like you've caught a team that has a bard on it, Magical Journey can open enough space that makes that teleport play look silly. So for now, CJ have been smart, playing around their flanks.
It's going to be the Bard ultimate thrown out. Immediately gets the flash from Soul. Really good cooldown to burn down.
Here comes Antara.
Antara coming in from the sidelines, goes in on the Soul, dashes him back. Oh, that's going to be great. CC coming in as he knocks him up. BDD will finish off for the kill. TP canceled by Hippo as he comes lumbering down through his base. But this is CJ in a very advantageous spot to just go ahead and trip down this tower.
It's going to be an inhibitor at minimum for CJ Entus. Really nice play from Untara. Flash just to get in range for the heroic charge. Activated the W, no way out for Lucian, even uses flash, and that's an inhibitor down. And this game really looks like it's going to be all evened up. It looks like CJ have all the answers after a rough early and mid-game.
Yeah, and they just rotate over to this top side of the map. Going to be looking to take this tower as well. It'd be their 7th one in the game so far.
Not much of a minion wave.
Wave's joining them, but Soul's still dead for 20 seconds, so they will be able to burn this one down. Throws out the pillar, it's not going to be able to do anything to stop that. So now the siege continues.
10 seconds for Lucian, so he needs to be in position to throw out the Cullen.
Yeah, they need to get some damage onto this turret pretty quickly.
The wave is very short range, so they're really waiting for Lucian to come back, but now it's time to run away.
Yeah, looks like it's just going to be CJ going ahead and backing off. Likely going to start getting ready for this 3rd dragon, which would be for them, or this Baron that'll be spawning in just under 2 minutes.
Only 35 seconds between Dragon and Baron, so CJ needs to be very smart about setting up. With Super Minion pushing through mid though, they do definitely have their pick of objectives, and it'll be on Kongdoo Monster to try and set up. We were talking about Kongdoo hitting their power spikes early, something they were able to do in game 1, but this game, with just the most incredible wombo picks, they could never set up pink wards around Dragon, and that meant that although they got a couple of them, they could never really translate their early mid-game into pressure or into a big enough advantage. And now that CJ's online in multiple different ways, say a Devourer, Muramana, the pink ward that's actually an Iceborne Gauntlet, all the items that picked up, and now it just seems too hard to navigate team fights for Kongdoo Monster.
Yep, CJ just positioning and outplaying in all of these team fights so far. Tara looking back on form with this Poppy, of course, making some great flanks, getting them that kill on the Soul. Now the question is, what does CJ want to do? 2 major objectives now spawning. This game is very much in their hands. It's their game to throw at this point. 6,000 gold lead. Looks like Dragon is going to be the first thing that they pick up. So 3rd for them, 5% move speed. Not the biggest buff for them, but one step closer to that 20% reduction.
They also take the Dragon as blue spawn, so walk away with blue buff as well.
Yep. So good pickup for them, and now Baron spawning in 10 minutes. No real vision coverage in the area, except for a ward inside the pit here by Kongdoo.
I thought Untara's had the most meaningful 0-0-3 performance in a 38-minute game I've ever seen.
That's very true.
2 of those assists were team fight winning.
Yeah. His utility on Poppy has just been phenomenal, stopping these dashes, stopping dredge line hooks here from Hippo.
I mean, the thing that's impressed me the most about Untara is that he'll make flash heroic charge plays that other people don't see. He will be steadfast. He'll be like, I see an opportunity, flash all in. He knows his limits on Poppy and Fiora in a way that's akin to Smeb, akin to Someday, akin to these top laners that are among the best in the world. And that's exciting to see for a player that's still sub 20 games experience.
Yep. See that the Baron has been started by CJ. It's going down quite quickly. Crush is here. The teleports are coming in. Who's going to get it? That is going to be keeping it alive with the Lamb's Respite. It's any man's game. It's got the heal from Lamb's Respite. It's going to be bubbling, confirming that one. And now the fight has broken out inside the pit. Edge completely stunned up by Untara. Looks like he's going to go down as soon as this Zonius comes across. Crush as well, maybe falling. But on the other side, Soul picking up a kill. And now Kongdoo just on the retreat, but I don't think they're going to be able to get out of this one alive. Soul dashing away. Hippo stunned into the wall. He goes down. Mystic shot lands. Kramer has the vision. No, not quite yet.
Waiting for the E cooldown.
It's going to be the long chase. Mystic shot, there it is. Gets the hit. That's the ace. That's going to be the game as the rest of the team pushes down the mid lane. They will take down these Nexus towers and the Nexus to follow. CJ tying it up.
Remember my prediction, Achilleos? The game ends with BDD 505, Kramer 505. These guys just can't die. These carries from CJ. Okay, that's only picked them up 1 win, but that was a much more impressive performance by CJ Entus. Yeah. They offered a window to Kongdoo by going for Tia, by going for Devourer. Kongdoo couldn't push it enough, and then CJ, once they finally got that small advantage, mostly through Untara, and its very good use of the Poppy W, just his conceptualization of fights, they ran the last 5 to 10 minutes and never looked like losing.
Yeah, that was just a much better performance by CJ Entus. Looking like we kind of expect them to play against a team like Kongdoo.
Yeah, just a controlled performance. Untara on another one of his strong champions. Secret Agent Untara, 007.
But yeah, clearly like BDD just maybe not going to excel on a champion like Lulu. Sure, she's very consistent, offers a lot of utility to the team, but you give him something where he can be greedy, you know, play very aggressively, and he just excels. 505, really good stuff coming out from him.
It was a carry mid laner performance from a team that hasn't had a carry mid laner till this series.
Yep.
It's not the Assassins yet, it's not the LeBlanc, it's not the Zed, but hopefully they're not too far behind to follow.
Yeah, neck and neck, him and the Ezreal on the damage. But we're going to see what happens with Game 3. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it's the conclusion of this